So it is quick, informal, fun weekly sessions. That means ask Robert all the questions you want. He will give you every single answer you ever imagined. But it's also a chance, for us to meet artists, see what they do, learn new stuff, talk to each other about what's going on. Coming up, we have journaling by Stephen Fisher. We have iPhone photography, which is today. We're going to have some virtual filmmaking with a friend of mine who works a lot with kids, but it works with adults too. Woodcut illustration for the iPad. So a really good illustrator friend of mine, and Alicia Dale, who is here right now. We'll be doing some word games at another time also. So you guys can do a micro meetup. That's how all these awesome people got here to do things. So if you have an idea of something you'd like to do or something you'd like to see us present, maybe you have a friend that does something really interesting that you want to see them talk about, send me an email. And there's my email right there, george@georgeberlin.com. Another little thing. So on the 15th, we're having a virtual barbecue. There's no real cooking of meat in front of your face involved because people's faces aren't good things to be near right now. So if you go to the Chicago Creative Coalition website, you will see the sign up for the virtual barbecue. We're gonna, share recipes and eat stuff and basically talk about what kind of program you'd like to see in the next year. Usually we do bigger events every month that are, a speaker or a topic. We used to do them in person, but we're kind of not doing that right now. But we're still gonna do after the fall is over, we'll probably be done with the micro meetups and we'll do the bigger programs every month. So, if you want to see more of these little kind of things or something else, come to the virtual barbecue and hang out and tell us what you're interested in. Because, C3 is here to serve the people that go to our events. So you can go to, there's the website on the bottom, Chicago Creative Coalition, which is chicagocreative.org. I'm going to hand it over to Robert in a moment here. Anybody have any questions? This is a good time to ask. All right, if not, I'm gonna give it over to Robert and I'm gonna shut up for a while.
Fantastic. Not fantastic to shut up. Fantastic that we've got everybody here and it's happening. Okay. Sorry about that. Well, I am Robert Irving Potter III. You can find me at rep3.com. That's REP3, the number 3.com, or just type out, as my friends at the Chicago Creative Coalition told me, make sure you have that URL, potterschoolofphotography.com. All run together, potterschoolofphotography.com. You can find me that way. Okay, it goes straight to my what do you call it, website. Ha! Okay, enough for the advertisements. You came here to find out about my favorite, and I tell you, absolutely favorite phone app. And it's available for Android and for iPhone. It's called Snapseed. Now, Snapseed used to be owned by Nick. And Nick still makes programs for your computer, okay? But Google purchased the rights to Snapseed to Nick for mobile devices, and they've been giving it away for free so that you will use it. I don't know what they're getting out of it, but I'm awfully glad they're giving it to us because it's an amazing program. It is possibly the only photo editing program you need to have on your phone. Okay, so it's called Snapseed, and I'll show you what it looks like at the Apple Store. Let me share a screen. I will share my desktop. And on my desktop, here we go. Do you see the Snapseed logo in the upper left-hand corner and what looks like an iPhone 3 times? Yes. Okay. This is what it looks like when you go to the App Store at the Apple website. And you can get this, it is free and it's safe to use, okay? So, boy, there are a lot of great tools to do with this. There are so many tools, and it is so good that I'm only going to be doing a beginner's level, entry level. This is how we can make a few things happen, and in the hopes that you will then continue to explore. And also, if you have questions, ask me, okay? Let's see, I'm going to show you a few before and afters. So this is where I teach classes in Marco Island in Florida. We're looking out over the classroom right there. And that's, so yes, it helps if you have a really good photo to begin with. But if you notice, wow, what I did with the Snapseed is really pretty impressive there, huh? Okay. This one, do you notice that okay. You know something? This is a drive-by shot. Yeah, I was driving by the church. I saw the light the way I liked it. So I pulled the car into the parking lot. I didn't even get out of the car. I just backed up in the parking lot until I found the spot that I wanted to take the picture. And I photographed it straight through the windshield because I was late to go someplace else. And I had to take, there was fresh fruit in the car and it was getting warm. And it was like, okay, I have to get this back to my students. So this is a drive-by shot, but do you notice the steeple is straightened? Look at the left picture, and then look at the right picture. And the left picture, the steeple is kind of like, you know, doing this sideways thing. And the left picture, I fixed that in Snapseed. Okay, let me show you another one. Whoa, this is the one, George, that you you said, I couldn't make it match up. It's because I straightened it. Or maybe, yeah, because I straightened it. It's a different size picture. So the color one and the black and white one, when you try and put them together, they won't go together because now they're different sizes, right? But I straightened the perspective in this, and I turned it into black and white. Let's see what else we've got. The rooftop garden in Guanajuato, Mexico. I take students down here and we spend a week just hanging out and making images. You can see that, again, it really helps to have some kind of a good picture. You know, I mean, I did a pretty good job with the leading lines and the composition on the photograph, and I knew that it was going to need to be goosed in the darkroom because it was such a gray, overcast sort of day right there. But boy, I tell you, those gray overcast days are great if you know how to use the darkroom to punch stuff up, because it's just, so let me see what we can do about showing you how to do that. In the Snapseed app, you will find all of these amazing tools. Now, you won't be able to see all of the tools unless you scroll. I cheated with this, and I used Photoshop to take a picture of the top part of the screen and the bottom part of the screen on the app and put them together so that you can see every tool available to you in the Snapseed app on your phone. Now, the most important ones. See up there on the upper left-hand side, it says Tune Image. Well, they're not talking about whether you want the bass turned up or the treble. They're talking about all the rest of the really cool stuff you can do with light and darkness and contrast, and we'll get into that Okay, so, and then details has to do with sharpening. And curves, well, unless you're Robert or someone like him, you don't need to mess with curves because he knows how to use them. I know how to use them, but they can be pretty confusing, so don't worry. You've got white balance, crop, rotate. Oh, perspective. See, that's the one that I use to fix the, you've got an expand. Oh, boy, I tell you. You've got, oh, selective is amazing. You're going to freak out when I show you this. There's also a brush, and a healing brush, and then there's a bunch of presets for the HDR scape and a glamour glow. Oh, and tonal contrast. Now, there's a few things I want to say before we jump into this whole thing. Let me go back up here. Okay, I went pretty far with this. I kind of pushed it to the edge. I kind of pushed that one to the edge too, but I could have gone further. Okay, but I didn't. So the thing that you want to do is you want to stop in your processing before it looks so totally unreal that people are just going to look at it and dismiss it and say, ah, that's been photoshopped, and dismiss it. Okay, so be careful with your processing. As you like to play with this, you'll want to do more and more and more, but maybe not too much. Okay. I'm going to now try to show you the phone itself. Okay, so we will share a different screen. Do we have anybody lost at this point or have a burning question that needs to be asked before I get further on?
I do have a question, and I apologize. I jumped in late. Do you mind?
Please help yourself.
Okay. Is this only available as an app on your phone, or is there a way to use this on the computer?
Yes, you can use something very similar to this on the computer. It's called Nik, N-I-K, and it's sold by a company, DxO. Okay, so I used to teach lessons for Nik when they were a fledgling company, and when they got purchased by DxO, I don't know, they lost my number or something. But at the same time that they got purchased by DxO, Google purchased the rights to do the phone and tablet and mobile device stuff. Okay, so you've got Snapseed for the mobile devices, and Nik, N-I-K, by DxO. How many people want me to show them the website for DxO? I'll do it right now.
You know, I mean, you don't have to if nobody else needs it. I can figure it out.
Okay, it's pretty awesome. I mean, these guys are, and it's awfully, incredibly powerful. Hang on, just switching screens here one more time. Share.
My understanding is that's free too, yes?
No.
No, not. Okay.
No, it is not. Right. So share. But DxO is, the Nik software on DxO is well worth the price. And so they have the older versions will run on the older machines, but the newer version, if you have Catalina or something new, you need to get the new version. Okay. So it's okay.
And Mac, is it Mac only?
Don't know. I'm a Mac person, so I don't pay much attention to the Windows side of things. Sorry. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, but that's it. DxO for Nik. Okay. And I use it in my professional world. It's a plugin for Lightroom and a plugin for Photoshop. Okay, so back to sharing the phone. So if I share a different screen, here's the phone, I think. Yes, it is coming up soon. The phone, great. Now, I know some people just like to see, gee, Robert, how do you have your phone laid out? My first page is all the stuff that I use all the time. And of course I'm a Canon shooter, so I have a Canon app down there, and I have my camera app right there in the dock. Then I flip the page and I'm into everything photo. So right, see in the lower left-hand corner, the green leaf that says Snapseed? That's it, right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the phone's photos, which also I understand from my cousin who uses an Android that it has something similar. It has a library where it keeps all of your pictures, okay, that you take with the phone, okay? So we're going to use the library that comes with the smartphone to feed pictures to Snapseed, okay? So once you've downloaded Snapseed, and again, free and safe, okay, then if you open it, well, I was playing with a picture that I wanted to show you before. So I'm going to hit the open button right now in the upper left-hand corner, and it's going to ask me, where do you want to open from? Do you want to open from the camera? Because you can take a picture straight into Snapseed, or from a device, or do you want me to go back to the last image that we worked on? Well, we'll open from a device, and you can see that here there's all of the albums that I've created on my phone. And so if I go to the favorites album, then I could choose one of these pictures to show you. How about the photograph from the last photo shoot I was on, which was for a blues singer, and she does photos of or does a few songs about trains. So we went to the Illinois Railway Museum, and here's what the photo on my phone looked like in the very beginning. Let me show you what it looked like before and after. I will switch to my photos and switch screens. Again, switching screens. Hang on there. Don't get lost. So sharing now. I'm hoping you see Donna Hurl at the Illinois Railway Museum in the iPhone, or in the photos that's on my computer. Yep, because do you see the picture of the train and the woman with the guitar?
We do, yes.
Excellent. Okay, then I did it right. Oh, I'm happy. Okay, so here's what what it looked like before. So I got the exposure right, okay, and then I just wanted to make sure that Donna got a photograph on the day of the shoot, right then and there, posted to Facebook immediately. So I quickly did this while we were sitting at the picnic table, recovering from shooting all day long. So this is the type of thing that you can do incredibly easily, and I will show you how to do it now. So we'll switch screens again, going back to the phone, sharing the phone. Okay, now I apologize for the image being so small because I have the phone in a vertical mode because I want to show you the toolboxes, and the toolboxes work best in the vertical mode. So down there in the center, or down the bottom, you can see it says Looks, Tools, and Export. Okay. Across the top, it says Open. There's an arrow with what looks like a bunch of pages, and an arrow going to it's a back arrow, and then an information, and there's also more, where you can get tutorials, help, and settings. You know, those 3 little dots always mean more. There's more here. Take a look. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Tools. And now you can see why earlier I said I cheated. Because look, there's more tools if you scroll. But you can't see them all at the same time. See, look. Okay. Oh, there's one of my favorite ones down there, frames, right? You can tell that it must be Robert's favorite, right? Okay. So right there in the upper left-hand corner is Tune Image. Woohoo! Okay, this is really great. I just touched on the Tune Image and it took me to this. Now you see there's a slider across the top. It says brightness right now with a 0, okay? Well, if I push my thumb down in the center of the image and kind of swipe up and down, it comes up with this nifty, neat little window that says brightness, contrast, saturation, ambience, highlights, shadows, and warmth. Well, I've got my thumb held in on the phone to make this show up. Now, if I've selected brightness, and you can see it's selected because it's blue. Now, if I slide my thumb to the left or to the right, it's going to change after it'll change the brightness of the picture. And it shows you how much it changed it. Okay. So let's say we liked this picture at the brightness it was. We kind of liked it. It was pretty good, just the way it was. Maybe we'll make it just a little bit darker. Okay, 2 points darker. Then I'm going to push my thumb in on the center, I'm going to hit the check mark on the lower right-hand side to say, okay, I'm done with the brightness. I'm going to go to the image tune, and I'm going to change the contrast. Now, I just made the contrast go up. Okay. Now, see, I did not have to say yes, okay, with the checkbox. I just used my thumb. I had forgotten about that, to change to the saturation or the ambience by dragging up or down in the center of the picture. I wish I had another camera so I could show you my thumb where it is. It's right, I push right in on the center of the picture almost, and I slide it up and down, okay, to be able to bring this up. Now this one's highlights, okay? So if I bring the highlights down a little bit, okay, shall we see what she looks like better? I'll use 2 fingers, just like you do on your iPad, to make things bigger or smaller, kind of pinch in or pinch out. You can actually, and then see there's this cool little box down here that shows you that you can wiggle it around. So I've got my forefinger on the blue box and I'm dragging it around in that rectangle, and it's going to show us what I want to see. Okay. So we like this. This is pretty good. Okay. So we'll go ahead and pinch it back down so we can see the whole picture again. Okay. Do I think maybe we want to add just a little more warmth to the picture? We could make it really warm, or we could make it really cold. Okay, blue is cold, and of course golden is warm, right? Because blue is like midday sun, and way over here on the warm side, that's like as if the sun were coming through all the atmosphere, and you had that really rich, warm, setting sun sort of a thing happening. So maybe we want to make it just a little bit warmer. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and say, okay. with the checkbox, and I'm going to pick a different tool. I'm going to go all the way down to Vignette. Do you see it all the way down there in the lower left-hand corner? It says Vignette. I'm going to push on Vignette, and there's a blue dot that goes in goes in the center always. Okay, and see the slider up there? It says the outer brightness has been knocked down -50. So let's take the outer brightness all the way down, and you'll see what I mean by vignette. It's vignetting the image. Oh, you remember those old-time pictures where it was all white around the edge, and it was, well, we can do that too. Here, watch. Ta-da! Okay, so we can also control the vignette as well. I'm going to put my thumb in the center of the screen, and I'm going to move up and down, and there comes that cool little box that gives us our options. Okay, so I've got outer brightness, inner brightness, right? Pretty sweet. So personally, I think I just want the outer edges to be a little bit darker on this picture. So I'm going to take it down to about where they had it, -50, to make the outer edges of the photograph darker so that it holds the eye into the center of the picture, okay? And I'm going to press the check mark and say, okay, good. Okay, now there's another tool in here that, boy, you're going to love this. It's called tonal contrast. Now, be careful. This one you can really go wacky with, okay? I'm going to blow up the image so that you can see what I'm talking about with the tonal contrast, okay? So here's the tonal contrast sliders. We've got high tones, mid tones, low tones, protect the highlights or protect the shadows. Well, we're just going to talk about high, mid, and low right now. Later on in a different lesson, we can do the protection stuff, okay? So we're going to slide, oops. I'm going to slide my high tones. Way up. So you can see that now there's some crinkliness in the lighter areas. I'm just going to take it down so that you can see the difference. Okay, take a look just above her head on the edge of the round cylinder, okay, where it's pretty light golden color. Watch as I drag that slider. See how it brings out the details in the highlighted area, okay? Let me try making that a little bit bigger. That's as big as it's gonna go. Okay, so there it is at 0, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch to I pressed on the, okay, see the little slider button in the bottom down there in between the X and the check? If you press on that little button, it pops up your toolbox, okay? I'm going to go to the low tones. Yeah, let's go to the mid-tones, okay? And the mid-tones, it's already at +50, so I'm going to crank it all the way up to +100. Okay, then I'm going to take it all the way down so you can see. Okay, and then all the way up. Okay, you see a few more wrinkles showed up on her face, right? Maybe we don't want to do that because that's not nice to do to a woman, okay? Okay, so, or anyone. And now I'm going to set that at like +21. Then I'm going to go to the low tones. Now, this will bring up, it's not giving us a real good example of the low tones here today. Let's go to the dark area. Here we go. Okay, there we go. Here's a real good example of low tones. There's no low tones that are being affected. And now, ooh, see how crunchy it is? Okay, so people seem to like that crunchiness. Well, be careful. Don't do it too much. You just want to bring out a little bit of detail, I think. Okay. Press OK. And now we've got, here's the image. Okay. Now at any point in time you want to see what your image looked like before, you can press on the arrow button in the top and you can revert or undo, or you can view the edits that you just did. So you can now say, okay, what's the original look like? That's what it looked like originally. And this is what we've done to it. So here's the original image. And there's what we did to it. Okay, moving forward.
Robert,
Yes,
it's Carmen. Can you hear me?
I sure can, Carmen. What's up? Did I lose you?
No, I wanted to point out a compositional element that I think works so perfectly here.
Oh, thank you.
So the front of the engine is a series of concentric circles, right?
Right.
Surrounding that bright headlight thing.
Yes.
Look at her guitar. Of all the guitars that you could have had, hers is a perfect match for the front of that engine.
How did you know that that's the reason I put her in that engine? That's her favorite guitar. And when I saw that guitar on a YouTube video, I knew exactly where I wanted her to sit.
Well, it's perfect. I mean,
Thank you.
it's like that engine had to have that guitar.
It did. It did.
And that's an acoustic guitar, obviously.
Yeah, it's called a resonator. And boy, she's very talented. Donna is. So thank you very much, Carmen Quintana. I appreciate that.
Okay, I'm letting go of the space bar now.
Okay, cool. So if we go back to tools, I'm going to show you a little trick that I've came up with to be able to put a really nice border around things. There's a thing called expand. And you can expand using white, or you can expand using black. I'm using my finger to pull those little tabbies out, right? Or you can expand with, oh my gosh, it's going to try and recreate. It's called smart expansion. And it doesn't work all the time, but sometimes it'll work. Let's see what it does. It kind of made a mess of a bunch of it, but it also looks like it might be some pop art. So here's what I do, because remember, well, no, you probably don't know this. I used to teach for Polaroid, and so if you've noticed, a bunch of my photographs have the edges on them that look like they're dripping chemistry. Well, that's because I love Polaroid so much that what I've realized is if I use the little expand key here and I make it so that it's just a little bit bigger than the picture, and then I go find the other tool that says frames, and there's a whole bunch of different frames you can use here. They've got rounded edges, they've got white edges, they have black edges, they have film edges with film marks, okay? This one works really well right here. It makes it look kind of like a Polaroid. And so you get that drippy Polaroid look on the edge of the picture now, like you pulled it off of a Polaroid, okay? So now we're almost finished with the picture. I said almost because, let's see, if you were here last time, I talked about my favorite app. Yeah, this is like almost my favorite. My favorite app really is iWatermark, because I was always told that you must bear the burden of proof. It's your piece of artwork and you need to put your name on it, okay? So we're almost done. We've got everything right down to the point, but what I need is I need just a little more room on the bottom of that picture to be able to put my name. So I'm just gonna, oops, that was Smart app. I don't want Smart, I want to fill with white. Hang on, here we go, expand, white. Okay, oh, there we go. That's just enough room to put my name. Okay, so now we're done making the image the way we wanted to make it. We're going to look at the steps one more time so you can see what we've done. I pressed on that little, I'm going to go back to it again, upper right-hand corner, the first one with the arrow and the pages. Okay, so you have an undo, a redo, a revert, and view edits. We're going to do the view edits. And now you can see the different things that we did. We came in to tune the image. Ah, hang on. Oh, look, I scroll and there's more. Don't forget to scroll. Okay, so there's original, tune image, vignette, tonal contrast, expand, frame, and then one more expand. And I say we're done. Okay, so now to get to done, I pushed on the arrow to make us go back to this out of the viewing edits. And now I'm going to look for the word save. And I don't see it in the horizontal format here. So I'm going to switch the phone back to the vertical again. Remember how I said it doesn't seem to work quite as well in the horizontal? Aha, there it is. Lower right-hand corner, export. Okay. Okay, now here's the important thing to know. When you export, you can save a copy, or you can export a copy with permanent changes. So let's go over that again. You can save, so it's going to save over that image. Save with changes, you can undo. iOS will ask permission to modify this photo. No, don't do that. This photo that that's like your negative, okay? So you keep the original, okay, and you save a copy. So what I do is I save, and this eats up a lot of memory, so that's why, Nancy, I said, you should buy a phone with as much memory as you can afford, okay? So it's gonna eat up a lot of memory. So first thing I do is I save a copy, and then I go back to export again, and I export a copy with permanent changes. You can say, oh, Potter, why did you do that? Now you've got 2 copies of it. Well, yeah, one of them I can actually go back and make changes on later if I want to. And the other one, my Macintosh's iPhotos will understand. Okay? Ooh, sorry. Didn't mean to make you seasick there. I just moved the phone by accident. Okay, so let me see if I can show you that in my phone library. Okay, photos, right here. And if we go to photos, all photos, here, albums, recents, there we go. So here are the 2 copies. That's the copy that has the changes made to it permanently, and that's the copy that you can change. Okay, I know that just because I saved the unchangeable one last, right? Okay, so we're back to the apps now, and just jumping back into iWatermark from our last lesson. There's iWatermark, and there's my name, and there's Donna's name, all set up from when I did it on the shoot. So I'm going to select a picture, going to select a photo. I'm going to select from the recents. And there it is. the copyright and Donna's name on the picture, moving Donna's name around a little bit, and then going to share that, save it. Oh, hang on, there it is, save image. Okay, it's saved. Yay, done watermarking. So we'll close the iWatermark app, and we'll go back to Snapseed after we look at the photos to see, ta-da, there's the one that I put her name on just now. Okay, so you should always remember, bear the burden of proof. If it's your image, you created it, you own the copyright to it, you should have your name on it. Nobody else should make money off of your hard work. So, you know, it's yours. Yay. Okay. Next up, after I ask for questions, does anyone, have I lost anyone yet? Is there something that needs to be explained? Please do speak up. Or raise your hand and George will see you, I hope. Or hold your finger down on the space bar and just talk. Okay, looks like we're good. So we're going to go back to Snapseed, and I'm going to show you a portrait that I did of my of Neil, one of my students. Okay, so we're going to, this is the Snapseed app that we're looking at right now. I'm going to press the open button, and I'm going to feed it another picture from the camera device. Not actually from the camera, because that means it wants me to take a new picture. But we're going to open from device. We're going to go to favorites. And here's a portrait that I did of Neil and his automobile. Okay. So he drives a Chevy, and he's stuck in the 70s. If you can see the tie-dye shirt. Okay. Well, okay, so there's a couple of really cool apps that, well, I tell you, I cried a little bit when I learned about this stuff, because I've made my living doing portraits for people, and now the computers are doing it all with automation. Watch what happens when I tell the computer that this is a portrait and it should make Neil's face look better. Okay. Tools. Portrait. Okay, we're going to choose one. Smooth to eyes 1, eyes 2. See all those little presets down there at the bottom? I'm just going to go ahead and pick combo 1. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow up his face here by using the old pinch method, where I pinch on the picture, and then I'm going to use my index finger to move that little blue rectangle around. Okay. Okay, so the face spotlight is at 30%. Wait a minute, face spotlight? What? Oh my. The computer isolated his face. It knew where his face was. Here, look, watch. Remember that there's this toolbox that I can go to, right? Okay, so I'm going to take them all down to 0. I'm going to take the face spotlight down to 0. I'm going to take the skin smoothing down to 0. I'm going to take the eye clarity down to 0. Okay, that's what it looked like when I took the photograph. And if I had been a better, well, if I had had more time and I was doing this as a professional photo, I would have used a bounce card to bounce some light into his face. Oop, sorry, didn't mean to make you seasick there. I got carried away with the phone and I started waving it around, and it, okay. So I would have bounced some more light into his face, but because I didn't, we're gonna fix it in post. Okay, so face spotlight. We're gonna make his face brighter. Okay, his face is brighter. Oh, whoa, he looks a little pasty there. At 100%, let's dial him back down a little bit. There, how about that? Okay, not too bad. Skin smoothing, well, sure, you know, he didn't have time to put on makeup, so we'll go ahead and smooth off his skin for him so that he looks a whole lot younger. Like, you know, there we go. Okay, and then eye clarity. We'll go ahead and bring the eyes up, make them a little bit more sharper. Okay, so I'm going to take it all the way back down. I'm going to say good with this check mark. All right. All right. And now we're going to go look at the difference by, remember those sheets of paper up there with the layers there with the little arrow? I'm going to push on that and we're going to see the view edits. So from original to portrait. So back to original. And on the portrait. An original and portrait. Well, I did a pretty bad job because you can see the brightness around the edge of his head. Or the computer actually did a bad job. You can see he's got a little halo effect there. Okay. So I overdid it, overemphasized it to show you what would happen. Okay, so that's our portrait mode. It does some pretty cool things. Let's see, 725. I think I have, ooh, no, it's not a whole hour already. Has it been, George?
Yeah, it's been almost out.
Oh, no. Okay, well, one more thing. I want to show
Robert,
you.
a question.
Mm-hmm.
How did you know when you chose combo on the automatic, adjustment thing? How did you know what the combo was? What the combination things were?
Just by trial and error. Right. It's taken a few times. It's like don't start playing with this app if you're cooking poached eggs and you want them to be done right. Okay. It's not going to work.
So that's a preset in the app, or that was a preset that you created?
No, it's a preset in the app. Right. Right. So when you start playing with this app, make sure you've got some time to sit and devote to just checking out all the different presets and pushing buttons. And don't be scared, because it's not going to ruin anything. Okay. It's as long as you don't say save original. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to make you seasick again. As long as you don't say save original, it's not going to ruin your picture. Okay, so it's all safe. It's all good. Okay, so go to your heart's content and just totally go nuts with it. Here, take a look at this one. We'll use drama, and then there's a bunch of presets down there on drama, and we'll just go all the way over to we'll use drama 2. And you can see there's a bunch of drama happening there. There's the dark drama. Okay, if we were to mix them up a little bit, we'll go bright drama. Okay, we'll say yes to that. We'll go back to the tools. We'll go hit the black and white module now, and there's a whole bunch of presets in black and white. Look, neutral, contrast, bright, dark, film, dark and sky. Okay, so we'll go for film. Okay. And then we'll say, okay, that's good for that. Okay, now there's the tools. Let's go to grainy film. Let's toss grainy film on top of this one. And so, I mean, you can go absolutely bonzo beans with this. You can get tools and go Retrolux, and you can get a whole bunch of weird colors happening there. That's like a duotone, right? Okay, so where's the brightness contrast? This is like, oh my gosh. Oh, light leaks. Oh, yes. Okay. Too much fun. You're gonna have way too much fun. Okay. Now I'm gonna go back to that show the view edits again. Okay, so you can see. Look, there are all those edits. There's the original, the drama. Okay, the grainy film, the Retrolux, the portrait, okay? I mean, it's all there. There's one other tool that you definitely have to know about. Well, of course, film noir, right? I mean, if you just want to make a really quick film noir, all right, or let's go open a different image or even the same image, and we'll go to Tools, Selective Color. So if I take Selective Color and I put a marker down and then I hold down with my finger, I can do brightness in that selected area. Just that selected area. I can add another selection right there to his face, and I can just turn the brightness up on his face. I mean, once you dig into this tool, there's no stopping you. But remember, I watermark. Bear the burden of proof. Please put your copyright on your image. It's the C with the circle, the date you created the image, or the year of the date you created the image, and your name. Okay? More questions? Questions? Wishes, wants. What else do you want me to talk about if I come back? When I come back, I hope, right, George? For C3, what do you want me to do next? Hold your space bar down and just speak right up, because you are the most important. If it weren't for the members of C3, we wouldn't be here. And so that's why you are most important.
Can you show us some of the perspective straightening stuff?
Oh, yes. Excellent. Thank you. Okay, so I had a good perspective straightening tool, Snapseed. Am I still sharing the phone? No, I'm sharing me. Now, you see a picture of me, right?
We see the phone also.
Oh, you see the phone also. Ooh, nice. I wonder how that happened. Okay,
I have
so.
it spotlighted.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you. Open image. Okay, so we'll go find a perspective image. From device, go to favorites, and how about something that needs a perspective straightening? Okay, here. It doesn't need straightening, but you'll definitely be able to see perspective straightening on this. Okay, so here's the perspective. Okay, so, there's the phone. Okay, now, do you see those circles in the corners with the arrows? Okay, well, right now, we're on free style perspective. So I can change the perspective of this image, and it's trying to recreate the background the way it needs to be. We'll go back. We'll go back to perspective again. We'll choose a different one. We'll use the tilt. Now you can tilt the image. Or just like you're tilting the back of the camera. This is some really fun stuff. Let's see if I go back to open and go to Guanajuato. I know I have a Symphony, Dropbox, iWire, Mark Plus, screenshots, panoramics. Oh, I thought I had one from Guanajuato. Okay. Over here, we're just going to the watermark me one. Okay, so this one's, now you'll be able to see perspective happen when I screw up the perspective on this. Okay. We can rotate, we can scale. So you can imagine that you had a picture that was tilted like that. You can now fix it. See? I'm doing this just by pushing my fingers around on the picture. Pretty amazing stuff. Wish I knew where that church steeple was that I could show that I did before. Here's perspective. Let's play with a different tool. Vintage. Nah. Let's try a different tool. Oh, let's put some drama on this one. Like I said, don't start if you're timing poached eggs, because your eggs will be ruined. Okay. Because you'll forget all about the timer, and the next thing you'll have hard-boiled eggs. Okay, here's a perspective. Okay, we can fix this. Tools, perspective. Okay, so we can straighten the building up here. There we go. So view edits. Here's the original. And there's Robert's fixed perspective. The original and the fixed perspective. Ta-da! So again, asking for questions. Is anyone baffled or needs direction? No question is silly. No question is bad. All questions are good and valid.
Anyone? Anyone? Well, it looks like if nobody has any questions, we could wrap it up if you like.
Okay, well, oops. I didn't mean to stop my video there. I was trying to reshare the screen because, of course, I wanted to show off one last time the Potter School of Photography website. And there, I think maybe you might be seeing the Potter School of Photography website now. I'm not sure.
We're seeing it.
You're seeing it? Okay, great. That's
Yep.
it. Cool. Now, that's all right. Well, thank you so much for coming to hang out with me this evening and learn more about my second favorite smartphone application.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you, folks. We'll be back with the barbecue next week, and then the woodcut illustration program is happening on the 16th. So come back around and check it out.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
This was amazing. This is such a great app. I'm can't wait to get started.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.